Starting lineup, and 4 British athletes in there, 3 of whom are competing in the individual 400 in Rio, one of whom Anika Noura, who's not, perhaps with a point to prove in lane 1. She'll be in Rio in the relay, but strong athletes in lanes 4, 5, 6, 7. So you've got world-class athletes and British athletes who are trying to get up there. There is Anika Noura. I think no doubt she thought she'd done enough. Bronze at the European Championships, where she edged out Christina Hurrigu, but no sparkling times this season. Hasn't managed to get below 51 as she did last year. Emily Diamond's improving a lot after last year for her was ruined by injury. Francina McCrory missed out on an individual place in Rio, 5th in those US trials, which spare no one if you're outside the top 3. Floria Gay of France, silver at the European Championships in Amsterdam at the start of the month, behind Italy's Lebania Grenot. Now, Shaunae Miller has only lost 1 race this season. That was over 100 metres. She's unbeaten over 400. She's outstanding over 200, but she's not going to double up, just going to run the 400 in Rio. Natasha Hastings, 3rd at the US trials, behind Alison Felix and Phyllis Francis. 50.17 she ran there. Stephanie Ann McPherson, the Commonwealth champion from Glasgow a couple of years ago, 5th and 4th at the last 2 World Championships. She is the Jamaican champion this year. And again, this stadium, this local stadium, will rise to Christina Hurrigu. Missed the trials with a virus, and that threw it all up in the air. Seren Bundy Davis, the youngest in the lineup, finished 2nd in the UK Championships. So 4 British athletes competing here in this women's 400 metres on a perfect evening, a quick evening as well in terms of sprinting. We've already seen very, very quick times. It's a freshly laid track as well. So I think we could see some very, very good times here. Not a breath of wind, it's warm. It's still. And Hurrigu looking for something, the selectors looking for something from her between now and Rio. She's won this race, this event, 3 times in the past with sparkling times. 50 seconds flat in 2013. She's a long way from that, but needs to find something. Shaunae Miller should be the woman to chase here from the Bahamas in lane 5. Anika Noura in lane 1 trying to chase down Emily Diamond in lane 2. And we'll see how Christina Hurrigu paces herself out in lane 8, just inside Seren Bundy Davis. But it's very quick so far from Natasha Hastings, the bleach blonde hair there. Shaunae Miller, long stride, chasing her down the back straight. And Stephanie Ann McPherson just outside, just squeezing up alongside Christina Hurrigu at the moment. And Hurrigu, does she have anything left in the final 150 metres? Seren Bundy Davis beginning to lose just a little bit of pace. Anika Noura right on the inside, a long way to go. But it's Hastings and Miller side by side. And Miller now puts the squeeze on and strides clear of Natasha Hastings and of Stephanie Ann McPherson. Shaunae Miller, Christina Hurrigu in 5th place at the moment, trying to get there. Francina McCrory in 4th, but it's Shaunae Miller, an exhibition of 400 metre running. Look out for the time from Shaunae Miller, 49.57, quickest in the world this year. She brings home Stephanie Ann McPherson in 2nd, Natasha Hastings in 3rd, but they were a long way adrift. And she takes the world leading mark from Alison Felix. You're very welcome. What a run that was from Shaunae Miller. We're saying she's going so well in the 200 as well, but she's focusing on the 400 in Rio, and you can see why.
Yeah, and I think she really needed that to, she's going to have to take on Alison Felix. Christine finished the best of the Brits, which I think would be the least she would have wanted today. So Christine in going a few steps towards vindicating her selection, definitely. And running a season's best to boot. We'll give you details of that in a second. But I think Shaunae Miller, this is her 3rd Diamond League win. She's learning to win in this event, learning to run a race well. There was almost 2 different races here from her lane out, they were all went through the first 200 much quicker, but she was the only one really who maintained well. Look at this down the home straight. She's hurting here, head's gone back a little bit. She's moving those arms, trying to keep the knee pick up. She's a lovely looking runner, Shaunae Miller, and I still think there's a massive amount of potential for her in this event. But this shows that she is ready to take on Allyson Felix. You know, that sentence is a tough one, but no, she's right there. And you know, that was a really good performance here tonight.
But she is, like Allyson Felix, a great 200, 400 runner. Felix is not going to be there in Rio in the 200. She just missed out in the US trials, but Shaunae Miller has... well, it's a bit of a shame that she's not going to be doubling up, focusing on the 400, she says. The final decision has not been made yet, but Michael Johnson, hugely impressed, I'm sure, with Shaunae Miller.
Absolutely. I mean, the 200-meter speed that you guys have been talking about, we saw it here with her coming off the bend with 100 meters to go, just so far ahead of everyone else, looking very relaxed. She benefited as well from the very, very quick pace set by Natasha Hastings. And Natasha Hastings always runs a fast pace, as she should, and it got her a third place here tonight. It got her a third place at the U.S. Championship, so that she's on that team. But Shaunae Miller, fantastic performance here. This sets up an amazing race between Shaunae Miller from the Bahamas and Allyson Felix, who is also a great 200-meter runner, defending Olympic champion in that event. So now two athletes over 400 meters, both choosing, at least in the case of Shaunae Miller, choosing not to run the 200 meters. Allyson Felix just missing out on the team for the U.S. But both now focusing on the 400 in Rio. Should be a fantastic matchup between those two. Well, Christine, I was not impressed with Christine's run here. I think, you know, as Andrew and Steve both said, she did enough to sort of indicate her position, but she's got some work to do between now and Rio. The one thing that I didn't see from Christine that you normally see is some great lift at the end of the 400 meters, and you can see the look on her face here, a little bit of struggling over this last 40 meters or so. The good thing about that is that's one of the easier things to work on over the next few weeks, is just working on a little bit of speed endurance.